Oops. I'm gonna start this. Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about how to get the most enjoyment out of food. How do you get the most enjoyment out of food? That's what we're going to start with. And we're going to talk about how to get the most enjoyment out of food so that you can lose weight and ultimately live at your goal weight. What a weird concept, right? How are we going to put those two things together? Because most dieters assume that in order to lose weight, they're going to have to reduce and get rid of the pleasure that they get from food. But I find that it's just the opposite that actually helps you lose weight more effectively. So, how do you get the most enjoyment out of food? The first thing we got to recognize is what is the most enjoyment? Because for most Americans, anyways, what we consider to be the most enjoyment is the most amount of food we can eat. So, we usually associate the most pleasure, the most enjoyment out of food with quantity. The more I eat, the more pleasure I get. And I think we need to take a step back and reflect on that. Is that true? Um, let's take it to an extreme. Thanksgiving dinner, could be considered the quantity to the max. And it's enjoyable in its own way. But if we look into the phase that follows right after we finish eating, and Program Yourself, then we call it the consequence phase. But as soon as you're done eating, if we take that into account, how pleasurable is that? How pleasurable is it to eat a lot of really rich foods? How does it make you feel? Is it pleasurable then when you feel so stuffed you can't even move, when you're so tired you can't even get up off the sofa, when your stomach hurts so much because it's so stuffed, right? So it's discomfort. There's a lack of pleasure once you're done eating, but we usually just ignore that part, right? Again, that's like drinking without taking into account the hangover. It's like spending on a shopping spree without taking into account the bills that follow. So if we start to look at the consequence phase that follows our eating choices, and we include that in our definition of pleasure, it starts to change things. Because now if we don't just look at the eating piece of it, and we look at the phase that follows it, now eating a lot of food starts to bring our pleasure down. And so how do we get the most pleasure? And I would suggest the secret to figuring out how to get the most pleasure is to start to imagine eating your favorite foods at your goal weight in a moderated way, where you got to eat the foods you like, you enjoyed them, you did it guilt-free because you felt good about yourself. And then after you were finished, you felt more energized and happier. Is that not a higher pleasure than stuffing yourself silly and then feeling like shit after? So again, we just have to extend our time frame a little bit. Take that phase that always follows. Isn't it funny when it comes to substances, when it comes to gambling, when it comes to bad habits, we're conditioned to focus on the consequence of it. When it comes to eating, the only consequence we focus on is I don't want to gain weight somewhere in the future. But there's an immediate consequence emotionally and mentally and physically when you overeat that's very unpleasant. And so when you start to take that into account, it really does inform your definition of pleasure with the food. And as you start to define pleasure of food as being not only the enjoyment of eating it, but also how you feel afterwards, you start to raise your goal. And you start to realize that actually there's a sweet spot to get the most pleasure is enjoying the flavor, eating it, and then feeling good afterwards. And to do that, you're going to probably eat less food because there's eating too much sugar, too much carbs, too much calories, too much fat, and we feel like shit afterwards. So if we dial that back and eat and enjoy the flavor of it in the enjoyment of eating with an eye on how can we best feel in the consequence phase, now all of a sudden we set our brain up to get more pleasure out of the eating. Because now we're taking into account that the way to get more pleasure is actually to reduce the quantity for a lot of us. And if you start consistently reducing the quantity of the food you eat because you get more pleasure out of it that way, what do you think ultimately is going to happen to your weight? It's probably going to go down because you're going to be consuming less calories on average. So this is a process, and there's more to this if you want to go deeper into it, but this is the beginning of the process of really training your mind to get more pleasure out of food so that you can take care of your weight and have it be where you want it to be as well. All right. And I hope this helps you out. And if you want to go deeper into this process, of course, go to programyourselfthin.com or click the link in my bio and go get the free hypnosis session and watch the trainings I made for you, read the emails, and I will help share more about this approach with how to master your weight. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. And here, it's so hard to get through. I got 6 phone calls coming through here. What's going on? All trash too. Killjoy, how's it going? The pleasure of eating junky foods is a much sharper spike in the moment, doesn't last. Yes, the pleasure of having a smaller, less inflamed, more flexible body is less sharp and more quiet, but you get to keep that pleasure for as long as you choose to. Yes, absolutely, Killjoy. Absolutely. So, we're aiming right at the heart of a core limiting belief of dieters, which is that to lose weight is less pleasure. To lose weight is deprivation, is miserable. I do not buy into that. I think if you do it like a dieter, yes, because if you do it like a dieter, okay, tomorrow's no more sugar, no more cookies ever again, no more carbs ever again. Yeah, well, that sucks. But moderating what you're doing seems to me to be the golden road forward. Can you moderate everything? Most people can. Occasionally, people can't moderate certain things. I can't go near the cookies. I eat one cookie, I eat a million of them, and I've tried everything. And okay, fine. But you probably never done that. And so the more you start to focus on moderation and getting good at moderation, that is really, again, a path of how you start to get more pleasure out of the food while you consume less calories. And that is the secret to mastering your weight and one of the core secrets. So yeah, I agree with you, Killjoy. Jen says, hello, Jim, wondering how to take the emotion, regret, guilt out of the redo rehearsal technique. I know these feelings are left over from my old dieter mindset. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So again, what I'd strongly suggest, Jen, is if you haven't, is go into the members area, bonus section, live weekly calls, scroll down and go to the last redo rehearsal trainings I did. I think they're really good. And the reason we take the regret guilt out of, there's no regret guilt in the redo technique because regret and guilt don't help you out at all. How do you feel regret and guilt? This will be a good lesson for everyone here. Okay, so you eat a bunch of food, right? You cookies, ice cream, you blew it, you blow it. Okay, you eat all the wrong stuff. Now it's over. It's happened. It's in the past. And now in the present moment, how do I generate, because we always generate our emotions, how do I generate regret and guilt about what I just did? How do you do it? You don't just feel regret and guilt. Let it be known. You generate it. So how do you generate regret and guilt? You think back to what you did. So in your mind, you reimagine, you remember how you ate. And you say, oh my God, I ate that ice cream. Oh God, why did I do that? Then you start feeling regret and guilt. Okay. So when you feel regret, guilt, shame, these emotions, you're not just experiencing, you're creating them by how you're thinking. And how you're thinking is you're replaying what you did. And you're making it even worse than it actually was. Like you're focusing on it differently, but you're remembering, you're replaying how you ate. And then that creates feelings of shame and guilt and regret. Now, what happens there, right, is you sit in that guilt and shame and regret by remembering what you did, replaying it in your mind. And then eventually you get far enough away and you just let it go and replace it with some other shit you're going to feel regret and guilt about. But what happens is you never took a step forward. You never moved towards the light. You never moved towards a better strategy or solution there. All you did is you replayed what you did wrong. And when you replay what you did wrong, another way to say that is you rehearsed what you did wrong, which makes it more likely you're about to do that thing again in the future. And that's what usually happens to dieters. They keep repeating the same dumb shit over and over, feeling bad about it the whole time, and they just keep doing it. And this is because your brain is never moving in a new direction. It's stuck in the behavior that you don't want, and you're stuck in this trap of doing it, then ruminating on it, reflecting on it, remembering it, regretting it, guilty, shame feelings. So the redo rehearsal technique is a complete different world where what we're doing is we're thinking what we did. We didn't, I wish I didn't get that ice cream. That's not how I want to be. Okay, how do I want to be? If I go back in time, knowing what I know now, being the person I want to be, then how would it have gone? And so now what we're doing is we're training our brain to say, if I could redo that situation again, how would I deal with it? How would I respond to it? And we go in detail with that. Why? Because the guilt, shame, and regret are not helping you at all. There's no benefit to those things after the fact. And so what I want to do is I want to say, okay, if I go back in time, what could I have done differently? That's not how I want to be. And I start to identify and diagnose what went on there that led me to that behavior. But then I'm saying, okay, how do I want to be? And now I imagine myself the way I want to be, acting, thinking, feeling, acting the way I want to. No room for regret. Again, it's like I'm learning to play the piano and I'm learning a new song and I'm playing the song and all of a sudden I hit a wrong note. Should I sit there and be like, oh my God, I played the wrong note? Remember that? I played the wrong note. Oh, you fucking dummy. Oh my God, you played the wrong note. You're never going to get this. Look, you just played the wrong note. Look how ashamed you should be. Is that helping me in any way? As opposed to, oh, God damn it, I hit the wrong note. Oh, I see why. It's because my fingers are in the wrong spot. Oh, okay. I wasn't anticipating. I forgot that note comes next. Okay. So if I go back next time, I want to remember that, make sure I put my fingers here. Then I'm going to hit that note. And I'm practicing the right way. Which one do you think is more effective for you? God, when I put it that way, right? Sounds pretty fucking obvious. But again, what dieters are going to do is they're always going to regret and blame and beat themselves up and whatever. Why? It doesn't change any of your behavior. I'd suggest you do it if it worked. If you did that and you didn't do the behavior again, I'd say keep doing it. But that's not what happens to you dieters. You make a mistake with your eating, then you pile on top of yourself, beat the shit out of yourself, and then what do? You do the same fucking thing again. And you've been doing that for decades now. So yeah, I don't think it's a very smart way to go about things. So again, remember this, Jen, that the brain gives up pain for learning. Dieters don't learn shit. Dieters don't learn anything. They just do the same fucking dumb thing over and over and over. Oh, it doesn't work. I'll do it again. It didn't work. I'm going to do it again. Didn't work for the last 50 times I did it. I'm going to do it again. So the alternative is that you say, oh shit, what happened there? What can I do better next time? If I go back in time, what could I have done different there? Next time I'm going to do this. What led to that? Let's be more solution oriented. Again, you can't be solution oriented and feel regret and shame and guilt. So the only way for you to feel regret, shame, and guilt is to be problem oriented, to be focused on the problem, fixated on the problem, which dieters are. So again, Jen, you're absolutely right. It is an old dieter mindset thing, but hopefully these suggestions kind of help you out. Rachel says, I agree. I'm starting to understand this more and more all the time. There's a sweet spot for eating and drinking for the most pleasure and no consequences. So important. Yes, again, there's a sweet spot. The most pleasure you can get out of food is to consume it at your goal weight in a moderated way. Prove me wrong. You really think, and people say this to me all the time, Jim, I could never do what you're doing. I love food too much. Fuck you. I love food just as much. Maybe I love it even more because I bet I get more pleasure out of it. Oh no, you're only eating 3 cookies. I'm eating the whole bag. I enjoy it more. Yeah, if you just look at the eating piece of it, but let's talk about after we're fucking done eating, let's talk about how we feel for the next 5 hours, each of us. So me with my 3 cookies versus you with a bag of cookies. Let's not just look at the eating part. Let's look at the next 5, 12 hours. Who's got more pleasure then? Oh, well, that doesn't count. What? Is that not your life? Is that not you living those next hours? What? Again, you've been hypnotized by the food industry to not think about the consequence phase of your eating. You disassociate from the instant consequences of your shitty food choices. You're vaguely associated to the weight and health effects that might happen in the future, which doesn't do shit to your eating decisions. The secret to changing your eating is to connect to the immediate consequences that follow. And the immediate consequences that follow are fucking horrible. You feel like shit. And again, you're stuck in a loop. It's like if you see someone who's a substance abuser, you look at them and do you feel jealous? Do you think that they're really getting all the joy out of life? No, right? That's not the most pleasure. So it's the same thing with the food. Never mind the weight piece of it. Most people in America, 75% of the population is overweight or obese. It means 75% of the population is overeating to some degree. And there's a consequence to constantly overeating. And the consequence is primarily mental and emotional, how you talk to yourself, how you think about yourself, the feelings that you have about yourself, the way you feel physically, energetically, cognitively, biochemically. That's, if you start focusing on that, it's a big smack in the fucking face. And you're like, oh my God, I feel like shit eating this way. But you don't realize it because you're in the throes of it. Just like if you see someone's got substance issues, you on the outside of it, you can see them in the throes of it. You can see it's clearly not a pleasurable way to live. But here, at least in America, the fucking food constantly going in the mouth is the constant source of pleasure. And that's it. It's just the fucking eating. That's how we all make such shitty decisions over and over and over again. Because all we do is we're just focusing on that little fucking moment. And we're talking about, you probably eat, it's like football. Football games, 3-4 hours long. There's actually an average of 15 minutes of actual playing time, right? So if you look at your typical day, there's probably like 15, 20 minutes of actual eating time. Maybe an hour, maybe you eat a lot. I don't know. But the actual food on your tongue eating time is very small. Do you want to sacrifice your whole life for that little tiny bit of moment? You're for that little tiny bit of moment of pleasure, you're giving up all the pleasure. You're giving up a ton of pleasure. So, anyways, calm down, Jim. Betty says, this is fantastic. Well, I'm glad you like it. Jim, you're 100% correct. Top podcast today. Well, thank you, Betty. I appreciate you saying that. Yes, stuck in a loop. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what's up, Katie? How's it going? Let's see here. I'm gonna find the question. I got to catch up with questions on TikTok. Takes me a second because, of course, TikTok shows me everything. What's up, Mr. Independent? How's it going? Whoops. Shit. Sometimes I invite people by accident. I don't mean to. It just, there's a lot of buttons here and I click them by accident sometimes. Oops. All right. So Patrice says, can I change at 65? I feel my age is a hindrance in addition to binge eating for years. Yeah, you can absolutely change at 65. They've proven this, right? It's neuroplasticity. You absolutely can learn new things. Your brain's still wiring. You can change behaviors, all sorts of things. I worked with plenty of people in their 70s, late 70s, who have lost weight and transformed themselves. So absolutely. Everyone's got challenges, again, I'm not saying, there's challenges to starting young. There's pain points to start, just struggles to starting young. There's always good and bads about everything, but 65 is certainly not, and that I know for an absolute fact, 65 is absolutely not too old and you can still change because you're still living, So again, it's not about changing either. It's about how do you want to spend tomorrow? How do you want to spend the next year? What's up, Kent? The fulfilling thing about read to rehearse is when you're in the same situation and follow strategy. Yeah, Kent. Kent gets it, dude. Kent, you really get it. I got to tell you. The read to rehearsal techniques, the stuff. It's just, to me, that's the cornerstone of the program of self-led mastery. That's the whole thing. There's the blueprints, which is what to do. Again, with weight mastery, there's knowing what to do and there's being able to get yourself to do it. The weight mastery blueprints are knowing what to do. The read to rehearsal technique is how to get yourself to do it. It's that simple. And it's like a key to escape from prison, the read to rehearsal technique. It's a bridge out of insanity to the sane land, the promised land. And again, it comes back to you dieters. It's like, take a look and notice that you keep repeating the same fucking pattern over and over and over and over. It's been decades now. It's not because you're 65. It's not because you're old. It's not because of this. It's because you have never learned. You've never learned how to influence your mind. Never. Yeah, Vicky, you put it better. Vicky goes, age is no barrier, mindset is. Yeah. Vicky's a great example of that. I forget your age, Vicky, but I remember Vicky looked amazing. Vicky's in the program. And again, she puts the work in though. It's not just like what we've done too. It's not just the work we've put in up until now. It's the work we put in each and every day moving forward. It's about making each day as good as it can possibly be. So, again, Program Yourself Thin is really, it's about taking weight loss and wrapping it in personal development. And it's really about becoming the best version of you possible. Now, the weight's a piece of that, but it's just a piece. So it's a much more holistic goal. It's a much bigger goal than just the number on a scale. It's being the person you want to be. And so 65, you still, you know what I mean? You still got goals, you still got motivations, you still got a life you're leading. And so, it's not even just about the weight. It's about how do I get the most juice out of my life? And it all goes hand in hand though with the weight piece as well. It certainly supports the weight piece in a very important way. You know, Mars, how's it going? Mars says, I've been binging due to stress and I find it hard to concentrate during meditation. Yeah, well, I mean, I get both of those things, so the meditation piece, let me just talk about that for a second. In Program Yourself Thin world, meditation's the focus for this month. So I've been talking a lot about meditation. So yeah, bear with me here. So when it comes to meditation for the most people, and especially if I haven't meditated much, the thing to understand is that it's a practice. So you're not just good at meditation. You practice it, and you start just like anything else, you suck at it. You want to be here with your meditation and you start here. And so it's a journey to get better. But that journey, if you focus on the moment to moment enjoyment of that journey, it becomes much more interesting. So again, developing your concentration when you meditate, the easiest way to do that, to kind of meet yourself, you want to be here, you wish you were here, but you're actually here. So what do you do in that situation? Don't do what most people do. Most people say, well, I'm here and I want to get here. So that the thing I have to do, meditate for an hour every day. So I get here quick, right? That's the dieter mentality, all or nothing. And so what we want to do is all or something. And so if you're down here and you want to get up here and you suck though, you start with a minute, 2 minutes a day. Just start to interface with it. Just have fun with it. Just focus on concentrating for a minute or two. Oh, that's easy. Okay, well, make it 5 minutes. But what most people do is say, oh, I've struggled meditating. So how long are you trying to meditate for? 30 minutes. Like, oh, geez, that's a long time to start, right? So with the meditation piece and the concentration, dial it down. Make it easy for you. Make it easy wins so you look forward to doing it. And that's probably in the ballpark of 1 to 5 minutes if you're just starting. That being said, now what happens if you start to enjoy meditation for a minute or two and you calm yourself down, you bring your attention inwards, your concentration improves. Now your ability to be more relaxed and to experience less stress starts to improve, right? Your stress level starts to go down. And now all of a sudden that starts to support you. It starts to help with the binge eating that's caused by stress. Now that might knock out 20% of the binge eating you used to do because now your stress level's lower, right? And when the other stress does come and those other times come, you're now in a better position to deal with them. So again, what it becomes is dedicating, it's at least if stress eating is a big issue for you, if stress is a big issue, which it is for most people, one of the best things you can do is commit to something in a little way that you start doing consistently. That's literally the basis for the Program Yourself Thin program, the hypnosis program, which is like, again, there's no program on the planet like this. And what happens is there's 2 components to it. Every week you get a 10-minute hypnosis session with a core weight loss mantra in it. 8 weeks, right? So each week you get one, you get a total of 8 of them. You listen as often as you can at night, right? And the other piece is that every morning you get a 5-minute hypnosis session. And that 5-minute hypnosis, it's always different. And so over, 60 days, you get 60 different, mantras going in your head every day. But what's happening is it's not just the mantras going in your head, it's also you practicing and starting each morning relaxed and calm. When you reflect on your own eating, wouldn't you agree that it's really your emotional state, whether you're relaxed and calm or whether you're frazzled and stressed and anxious? Which one of those you're feeling is going to have a huge impact on how you end up eating, what foods you decide to eat. When you're relaxed and calm, you're way more likely to make better food choices than when you're stressed, freaking out, right? So again, this is one of those foundational things that if you start to invest in your relaxation, it has exponential effects. It's not a one-to-one relationship. So that's what I would suggest, Mars. Yeah, Mars says, is meditation really going to help my emotional eating? Yeah, absolutely. Because again, you have to understand that Americans always skip this part, but it's not just the mental piece of it. You know what I mean? Like quieting your mind down and being able to concentrate more will absolutely help your eating because you can become more aware. That allows you to start to come up with better strategies and everything else. So that's absolutely going to help you. But the other side is just your physiology. You tell me, when are you relaxing and calming down when you're, other than watching TV or scrolling, when are you in this body? When are you in this machine, relaxing it, turning your attention inwards, connecting to your breath, and kind of quieting everything down and becoming more aware of what's going on in here? And I know the answer is almost never. And so that's hugely helpful as well. All right. Professional Killjoy says, how do you practice the redo rehearsal technique if you're generally happy with your day? Yeah, Killjoy, go watch that training too, because I've updated that. So that there's 3 types of redo techniques. There's the correction, which is the main one, where we did something we're not really happy with and we correct it. But there's also installation, when you want to install something new that you want to do. And there's optimization, which is the one you would do, where you would look at your day and you're pretty much happy with everything, but anything can be improved upon. And maybe not even your behavior is not better. You don't eat better, but maybe the optimization is I make it easier for myself, or I make it more enjoyable. That's optimization too. And so when you get in the pattern of, again, you got 3 options you can use for your day. A lot of times, yeah, you're going to start shifting over more to optimization. You know what I mean? You start a lot of times with correction more, and then you move over to optimization. And then eventually you kind of move out of it. Like I don't really have to rehearse my eating much anymore. You know, it's pretty locked in. I redo and rehearse a lot of work stuff. You know, that's what I use it for consistently now. But the redo rehearsal technique, again, at the end of the day, that's a technique that's really got its roots in personal development. I just really frame it as a weight loss thing now. But, you know, at some point I may put that technique out there as a standalone thing you can use to really any area of your life, you can use it. And it's very, very powerful technique. But for the time being, I just really teach it primarily as in a weight related context. But yeah, that's the thing is to use the optimization version. And if you don't know about that, go to the membership area, go to bonus, scroll down live weekly calls, and you'll see the redo rehearsal ones, the new ones. Yeah. So Summer One says, I find that eating the same things every day helps me. Yeah, I find the same exact thing. Now, I know some people say, I can never eat the same thing every day. That's great. That's fine. We all have different variety needs, you know, but if you are a person who doesn't mind eating the same thing regularly, you have a way easier path. There's just less things to have to think about. Variety's fine, but everything comes with, you know, everything's good and bad. And so, you know, again, eating the same thing every day, some people say, well, there's not enough variety. That's boring to me. Well, fine. Then you add as much variety as you need, but no more than you need, because the more variety you add, the more complexity you add in terms of getting the ingredients there, you know, recipes, preparing things, you know, concept, all the rest of it. So again, everyone has to kind of meet themselves where you have to. Rule number 1 of Program Yourself Thin is you got to build around you. You're building a one size fits one plan here. And so you really got to build around your own preferences. And so I consider it a superpower to be able to eat the same thing every day. You know, and I it makes my life a lot easier. So yeah, I agree. I think it makes it easier. All right, says, anyone struggle with binge eating here? Need an accountability partner for real? Accountability is not going to do shit. I'm just letting you all know. The accountability, when it comes to binge eating, that's not the problem. The problem is not that you're not accountable. The problem is that you don't have a better strategy to deal with your emotional eating triggers. So Mars mentioned that one of the core triggers for binge eating is emotions, stress. Stress is a big trigger for binge eating. So the binge eating isn't the problem. The binge eating is a symptom of a problem. The problem is you feel stressed, and eating is the only way you know how to relieve that stress, or the most effective way. And so it's not the binge eating is not the problem. Subconsciously, the binge eating is the solution for you, by the way. It's the main way you know to go from being stressed to being more relaxed and calm. And so you could stop binge eating, but you're still going to be stressed. So an accountability partner, oh, great, I got to count. Oh, no, I didn't binge eat today. I made it 4 days and I didn't binge eat. You're ready to fucking kill someone, though. It's never going to last, because you're never going to live in a state of constant stress just so you can lose weight. You'll do it sometime. Everyone can do it for a little while. This is why you dieters never stick to your shit. You know, so accountability partner is not going to do anything because it's not fixing the problem. So what's the problem? The problem is I don't know any good ways to relax myself that don't involve food. I had that problem. Now I got a million ways on how to relax myself. And my stress level is so much lower than it used to be, because so much of my lifestyle is built around keeping myself relaxed and calm. So again, so much of my ability to remain at my goal weight is because I've transformed my lifestyle. I've transformed my mindset, lifestyle, and eating. But the lifestyle piece is probably the most crucial one, simply because my stress level just right off the bat is way lower than it used to be. So I've reduced my stress level dramatically, right? Just away. My baseline stress level is way lower now. And when I do have spikes of stress and I want to go to the food, I have other alternative ways to deal with the stress that don't involve food. So you see what I mean? Like I don't need to stress eat as much anymore because I have better ways to manage the stress. Hope that makes sense. And I'm just going to say this real quick while I'm looking for the next question here. If you have not gotten, if you don't click the link in my bio and go get the hypnosis session, that's a crazy thing, right? But I'm used to people not doing that sometimes. I don't know why, but whatever. But I'm telling you what's coming down the pike. And what's coming down the pike is Program Yourself Thin app. Big news. I'm so excited for this. Within the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to go to the App Store, Google or Apple. You go to the App Store, you're going to see Program Yourself Thin app. You're going to download it and you're going to be off to the races. And it's all free. Now, understand, there's a free section to it, but a lot of good stuff in there. And then if you're part of the programs, it's all going to be in there too. It's awesome. It's so exciting. So anyways, you can get in there quicker because right now it's like I have the app, but it's not branded to me yet. Okay. But it's in there. And so I put the Calm Holidays. It's a free training. It's 5 minutes long. I'll show you how to calm down. And so you have stress all the time. Okay. Well, here I am, a free training I put together. It's a 5-minute training, how to calm down. And then there's a 10-minute hypnosis session that you listen to help you stay calm during the holidays. It's free. You know, there's not much left for me to do, folks, other than literally break into your homes and put headphones on you and make you listen to them at night. What more can I do? And so now I got the app coming. You know, right on your phone. It's gonna be so awesome. I'm so excited about it. But you can kind of get ahead of that and get into the app now, and you get access to all that stuff. And that's just the free stuff. And so all my customers and clients, this thing's gonna be so awesome. Everything's gonna be right in there, and it's gonna be so exciting. So again, give me like probably a month, maybe not even that long. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But I know it's a little bit of but we're in a little bit of a weird spot right now in between things. But this is going to, everything's going to be right in there. You're going to get your messages from there and everything's going to come right on your phone. It's going to be awesome. So can't wait. Brianna says, I really think I'm going to get it this time. Scale is down the lowest it's been in years, but I don't want to fall back into old patterns, habits. Any recommendations to avoid this? Well, congrats. Great job. Okay. Great work. Yeah. I mean, the way to avoid that is to start stepping into your new identity of being a thin, healthy person. Right? At some point, you guys got to let the fucking dieting go. Do you think I need to diet? I've been at my goal weight for 30 years. Do you think I'm doing it because I'm dieting? Dieting, subconsciously, dieting is coded as a temporary thing you do. 30 years isn't temporary. I've transformed myself from the inside out. I'm not an overweight person. I'm a thin and healthy person. So, Brianna, that's what I want for you. I want you to start to occupy that identity. And I thought, Brianna, for some reason, I felt you're in the program, the mastery program. Again, everyone here should be in the mastery program. I made the hypnosis program available to you because I know there's certain people that just want to do the hypnosis. So fine. I know it helps people and I've been selling it on its own and whatever. But if you're really serious, you should be getting the mastery program. But anyways, so I thought, Brianna, I thought you're on there. And so if you are, go through it again, but especially for you, the motivation piece, you're pretty good now, clearly, because you've been sticking with things, you got results, but dive into the self-image piece. We literally just covered that last week. If you're in the program, go to the membership area, bonus section, live weekly calls. The first lesson is last week's one where we talked about the self-image. No, it's not. It's the second one. We talked about habits last week. The week before, though, we talked about self-image. That's what I want you to focus on. If you're in the program, I'm feeling like you are. That's why I'm saying this. But that's what I would suggest, to really become the person you want to be, not just visit it for a little bit. Sarah says that's so true. Not sure what you're referring to, but I'm sure it was true, whatever I was saying. Brianna says, because as much as I'd like to think I'm just going to get it, I will be triggered again. Yeah, and that's fine, Brianna. Again, it's recognizing you're going to be triggered forever. I'm still triggered sometimes, but I have a way greater ability to recognize the trigger and to deal with it. So again, no big deal if you're triggered. Sarah says it's a discipline. Agreed. It is a discipline for sure. I love disciplines. Gratitude 108 says the best strategy of listening to the daily mantras, mind wandering. Okay. Some mantras seem to be better. Yeah, absolutely. Gratitude. The best strategy to listen to the daily mantras is to make sure the most important thing you do if you're in the hypnosis or above program, hypnosis or mastery program, is the best way to go through the daily mantras is to make sure that I'm sending the message every day. So like I said, it's good. This is going to improve dramatically over the next month. But for right now, I can reset you anytime you want. So you can just restart and you'll start getting the emails and you'll get text messages. And so now you don't have to remember, you just listen to them. And when you're listening to them, yeah, I mean, sometimes your mind wanders. I meditate every single day. Sometimes I'm locked in and sometimes my mind's wandering all over the place. That's normal and natural. It's fine. When it comes to hypnosis, though, it does not matter. The fact that you're sitting there listening, you follow along in the beginning, you relax, you calm down, you connect to your breath, and then I'm talking. And whether your mind wanders or not really makes a shit of difference. It really doesn't matter. You're hearing really important things. And we know this for a fact. They've done so much research on commercials. Some studies show commercials are even more effective when people aren't paying attention to them because they're bypassing your critical faculty, go right in your subconscious mind. So with those daily sessions, you do not have to laser focus in for 5 minutes. Don't worry about that. Go in there, relax, breathe, enjoy those 5 minutes where it's just peaceful and calm and you're hearing nice things. But again, doesn't matter if you're paying attention, concentrating like a laser beam, or just sitting there passively absorbing them. Does not matter. All right. And so make sure that if you need me, shoot me an email at jim@programyourselfthin.com, or you should be in the app. Are you in the app? I sent that out last week. So if you're not in the app yet, get in there. Okay. Mara says you're right. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Paul Toka says, I didn't get any notification this morning. I know the notifications are a little screwed up, so I'm working on fixing that up. Give me we'll talk about it actually. I'll see you on the coaching call and I'll look into that. But the notifications, we are in a little bit of a weird spot with the notifications. I will let you all know that. So things are a little screwy right now, but we're fixing it. And nudges, this is it. Nudges it's almost done. Almost on its way out. So forget that one. Yeah. Yeah, Betty says, living in a constant state of stress, that's what I do to get thin. That's really messed up. I have to stop. Yeah, and again, that's what most people do, right? Every diet you go into, it's stressful and miserable and overwhelming. That's why you don't want to do it. That's probably why you're not doing it now. So again, I mean, diets, as you all know, I could talk for hours here about why diets are goofy and silly, but that's just one more reason why they're pretty horrible, is that it's very stressful. And when you're stressed, it's very difficult. Again, it's not what is not the main thing stopping you from losing weight. It's not that you don't know the right stuff. It's that you can't get yourself to do the right stuff. Right? I mean, if you were a robot and you could just type in what you believe you should eat all day and you did it though, you'd probably lose weight. So it's not a knowledge problem of what to do. It's a knowledge problem in the sense you don't know how to get yourself to do it. And the diet industry has really conditioned you to everything you think about losing weight is just completely wrong. Yes, it is. Because again, the fact that you're not losing weight right now is because you're not doing anything to lose weight right now. And the reason you're not doing anything to lose weight right now is because you associate weight loss with deprivation and pain. That's why you avoid it all the time. Do you think that doesn't matter? Well, Jim, no pain, no gain. You got to force yourself to do things. That's fucking goofy shit. That's a goofy way to go through life. I will tell you that. And ineffective. It's goofy and doesn't fucking work. So Anyways, no pain, no gain, right? What are you, a bodybuilder? You know, like you should just reflect on some of the things and this is what I do for a living. When I really go in depth with what people's beliefs and ideas are about weight loss, and we put them on the table so they can see them, they're like, oh my God, I believe a lot of dumb shit, huh? Yeah, it's not your fault. We've all been hypnotized by the diet industry. What are you going to do? But once you realize that, if you care about your weight, you gotta figure that out. You got to figure out a better way. You're not going to diet. What are you going to do? Really? You're going to diet yourself down to your goal weight and then what? Stay there forever? You can diet forever? Is that the plan? Is that the plan? So, I hope not. Patrice said, I've had enough pain. I don't want it to be painful for sure. Well, good. I mean, that's what, you know what I mean? That's what we call a distinction and an epiphany. Once you realize that the reason you're not dieting right now and the reason you would never diet in December is why? Because it would bring down your quality of life. It'd be miserable. I'm not going to diet during the holidays. That's because you're an all or nothing thinker, because you're a dieter. Dieters think in all or nothing terms. So most dieters just check out for December because what are you going to do? Eat perfect during the holidays and hate the holidays? Nope, you're not going to do that. You're going to eat like shit during the holidays and then be like, oh, January 1st, I'll just check back in. And how long is that going to last? I mean, what the fuck? Wake up. Wake up. You got to do things differently if you want different results. Well, they say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. But by that definition, dieters are as crazy as it gets. It's as crazy as it gets in the society. For real. I'm talking about a giant group of people. I forget the numbers right now off the top of my head, but the statistics on dieting is just so ridiculous. Like, it's crazy because that's what everyone thinks. How do you not think that's hypnosis? If you ask 1,000 people in America how to lose weight, what are you going to hear? Diet, workout, injection, surgery. Diets fail 95% of the time. Working out has been proven now that doesn't change your weight at all. Injections, I'll just leave that alone. Surgery, I'll leave that alone. So I'll just concentrate on the diets and the working out. Two things that don't work at all. Dieting has a 95% failure rate, and working out has been proven study-wise, big ass studies, that it does not help you lose weight. So I ask you again, how do you plan on losing weight? Diet. Okay, that's fine. Choose the diet, but also understand that you're probably not going to succeed with it. Well, you're just being negative, Jim. Oh yeah, what do I got to do? Join the fucking the fucking loony bins with you all and think like, oh no, dieting will work. I just need to want it more. There's a magical Monday that's going to show up, and I'm going to completely transform into a different person that morning when I wake up. I'm going to transform into a person who can do keto forever from that point forward. Again, I don't say this stuff to be rude. I say it to shock you into waking the fuck up because you're in a dieting trance. And when you take just one little step outside of it and look back at it, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? Oh my God, I have no plan to lose weight. Now, I have no plan to live as a thin, healthy person here at all. I have a ridiculous idea that I'm going to take some wild whack at it by cutting out carbs or not eating for 16 hours or reducing my calories down to 1,000 or counting every single calorie I put into my body. My plan to lose weight is to do some extreme, overwhelming shit that I can't keep up, that I've done a bunch of times and it hasn't worked. On top of it, that all of my friends and family have done and it hasn't worked. That's my plan, Jim. That's what I'm going to do. When you put it that way, it sounds really dumb, doesn't it? Again, I'm not calling you dumb. I'm saying it's a dumb plan. And I'm saying, wake the fuck up. You're too smart to be doing this. You really are. What's up, Julie? Julie says, eating getting better, but two habits I can't seem to break: bagel or muffin in the morning and chocolate at night while watching TV. Okay, well, great job, Julie. And again, some habits change quicker than others, so I've had habits I've worked on for months and years Yeah, 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 years, I would say. Sometimes some habits are hard. But so great job, Julie. But now you've just laser focus in on those two habits and you just keep working on them. Solution oriented wise, read or rehearse, just keep working on them, keep strategizing, build on your other successes, use the other things that have worked for you as role models for how you can succeed with these two things as well. And just keep moving forward. Because again, so what? Say it takes you 3 months to figure out how to deal with the bagel and muffin more effectively or the chocolate at night. Say you get 50% better at it with your strategies you come up with over the next 3 months. Great. You get it, Julie, because you know you're moving forward. You're walking the path of mastery. There you go. Yeah, just eat less of each day. So again, that top level idea is this simple concept. Implementing it is a lot more work and effort usually. But yeah, that's basically it, Julie. So you figure out what works for you to do that. What's the most comfortable way you can come up with to do exactly that? And then again, each and every day you get a little bit better at it. 3 months from now, you're like, holy shit, I can't believe it. That's real change, folks. It's not this instant. One day I woke up as a totally different person. That's fucking fairy tale thinking, which again, I'm not blaming you for it. The diet industry literally trades in fairy tales. They call it the false hope syndrome. I've studied the shit out of diet and weight loss marketing. I could psychologically break it down for you. I should do a video and a lesson on that because you'd probably find it very interesting. But one of the core factors of diet marketing is the false hope syndrome, where it's a fairy tale land, right? Because all you've seen your entire life. Now, this is a crazy stat. In our lives now, if you're alive, if you're watching this at least, I can guarantee you your entire life, you have lived within a diet bubble. Diet industry has complete and total, like, we have seen millions of diet ads in our lifetimes. And that conditions us to think about weight loss as dieters. And one of the core ways we think about it is the before and after picture. And this idea that I'm going to go from being miserable to being absolutely everything's going to be amazing. And it's this false hope. Again, losing weight's awesome. There's lots of benefits to it, but does it fix everything? Is everything going to be as great as you imagine it to be? No. This is why 95% of dieters put the weight back on. That's the core statistic you got explained to me. When you tell me you love dieting and that's your chosen strategy to accomplish your goal, it's the burden of proof's on you. I'm at my goal weight for 30 fucking years. I help people every day do this. It's your job to explain to me how the diet's ultimately going to work for you. And what you're thinking right now is that I'm just going to stick to it at some point. And I say to you, why the fuck would that happen? Why would you stick to the diet better now than you did 20 years ago? I'm all ears. I want to hear your reason, but I fear that you don't have a reason. It's just magical thinking. It's just magical thinking. January 1st is going to come, and that's when I get it, but wake the fuck up. What happened last January 1st? What happened the January before that? Well, fuck it. While we're at it, what happened the last January, last 20 years? You know? Again, I don't say this to be rude. I say it to wake you up so you can actually start walking the weight mastery path and really take control of your weight. It's the irony of this whole thing is that dieting is way harder than weight mastery. Because with dieting, you have to change everything in one day. Sunday, you're an overweight, overeater, sugar addict, carb addict. Monday, you eat 1,000 calories a day. You never eat sugar. You don't eat any carbs. And that's who I am. It's like, it's so crazy. It's literally insanity. And so the path of weight mastery is we get 1% better every day, not 100% better in one day. What the fuck? I know you wish you could get 100% better in one day. Who wouldn't? Don't you think that's a little bit of magical thinking? I mean, while you're at it, just have Santa bring you a new body. Look, let's just go all the way with it. Why the misery of the diet? Just, do you know what? Just write a letter to Santa and have Santa bring you a brand new body this year. Why are you going to wait till January 1st and struggle with a diet? Just write a letter to Santa and have him bring you a new body. You might have a better chance of that one working out for you. All right. Now I'm being a dick, but I'll stop. Yeah. Well, Paula says looking for that magical Monday, but looking for 30 plus years. Yeah, I get it. But Paul's not looking for that magical money because Paula's in the program. And so she's walking a whole nother path. And the last 3 months have been the most transformative months of her life when it comes to her weight in her whole life. And she's a smart, focused person who's been focused on weight loss for a lot of years, decades. It turned out all she needed was some good information. Oh, what do you know? Right? If you keep struggling, I wish you all would stop blaming yourself. That's what it all comes down to. That's really my core message. Is that I wish you'd stop blaming yourself for the weight thing. I was talking with someone last night at a coaching call, and she goes, I'm just lazy. I said, you're the fucking opposite of lazy. I mean, this is a hard working person. And I'm like, you're not lazy. You just got into a position where making the healthy choice was really, really hard to do. But again, what it comes down to is good and better information. You know, so if you start realizing, no, I am smart, I am motivated, I do want to make this happen. So why haven't I? It's not you. It's your fucking strategy. Your strategy is total horseshit. If you don't believe me, tell me what your strategy is and I will show you how it's total horseshit. I'll prove it to you. That's what I'm here for. To help you, not to tell you your horseshit, to help you. But sometimes the most help I can offer you is that what you're doing is fucking horseshit. It's not working. Prove it to me. Tell me your plan. Defend your plan. Because if you can't defend your plan, then that makes me think you don't really give a shit, which is what I really believe anyways. Now, I don't think that you don't give a shit. I think that you've hit a point of apathy that you can't recover from. And the only way out of that apathy is you've got to stop dieting. The dieting is a trap. You notice that you just keep looping through diets. And now you probably, when you get really desperate, you start entertaining injections, maybe surgery, you know, but most of the time you're through dieting. And then when you get really upset, oh, should I get medicine? Should I do surgery? No, I don't want to do that. The diet. Oh, injection, right? You might loop through this daily. Some people do. Most people, it's monthly. Killjoy says, every time I hear the word keto, I want to reflexively, protectively shove marshmallows in my cheeks. Yeah, I bet. And that's what I mean. Like that's exactly the point. You know, what the diet industry, by the way, the diet industry is the food industry. So all the shit you know about losing weight is taught to you by companies like fucking Nestle and Ben and Jerry's and, Heinz and all these shit bag companies. You want McDonald's? You can do the McDonald's diet. You want McDonald's to teach you how to lose weight, eat healthy? Yeah, because Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products owned by the same company as Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. Slim Fast owned by the same company as Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So yeah, I wouldn't trust them if I were you. Maybe they don't have your best, intentions at heart. Maybe they're just trying to teach you some fucking bullshit that you'll do for a little bit and then go right back to what you always do. Maybe that's what they want you to do. Just an idea. What's up, Joy? Sorry if I missed your questions. I'm yapping a lot here, but I'm getting to the questions right now. Oops. If I miss any questions, I apologize. All right, so Katie's going to write a letter to Santa. I joke about that, but at least it's something different, right? You deserve to at least do something different. And don't worry, it's not going to make any difference to your results anyways. Start a diet January 1st to write a letter to Santa. You're going to end up in the same place is what I'm saying to you. Ultimately, you might lose a little bit of weight along the way, but you're going to have the same spot. I being obnoxious. Father 84 Fitness, 217 to 213 pounds. Never best thing I did in my life. not sure if I understand that exactly, but weight loss is relative to each people. So I guess, I just saw a question. What do you think about, what are your thoughts about unicity or unicity? Let me see that. I get confused with all this shit. Let me see which one this one is. It's probably negative. Okay. Products to support metabolic health. Yeah, that's all bullshit. It's time to feel great. Featured products, Unimate, Cleanse, Balance. All bullshit. All bullshit, folks. All bullshit. That's what I think of it. Let's see how much though. Oh, a Balance Booster Pack, $120. 60 tablets of BioC, $40. This is, see, I read stuff like this and I get fucking mad that I don't charge more for my programs. And I do is I'm trying to help as many people as possible. And I see the fucking dumb stuff people are buying and it makes me mad that I'm not charging more again. I'm going to be honest, because people invest what they value. Yeah, I'm aloe vera. Yeah, so I think it's bullshit. That's what I think. First of all, anything when it comes to metabolic health, no one even fucking knows. They just discovered, they really just discovered GLP-1 hormone, the Ozempic, all that stuff there is the biggest weight loss discovery in history. And they just discovered that a couple of years ago. They're just starting to understand gut hormones. They're just starting to understand metabolism. So when someone's saying, oh, it's going to boost your metabolism, what does that mean? It means fucking nothing. It means you're going to waste your money. So I'll just leave it on there. Not the most scientific explanation, but I'm just going to keep it simple. That's how I think of stuff. I'm not a scientist, but I can tell you that stuff is not going to help you lose weight. So Julie says, I've been focusing more on not putting all that crap in my body, sugars, fat, preservatives. Isn't that a better strategy than focusing on weight? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because those are definitely better strategies because there's a short-term focus to it, right? So it's like, I don't want to put sugar in my body, preservatives in my body, all this rest of it. And so you start thinking about what you're putting in your body now. When we just focus on weight, there's a time factor there that really sabotages us. Because if we just say, like, oh, I shouldn't eat this because I'm going to gain weight, our brain will say, you know what? Eat it. And then tomorrow we'll just eat better. You're never going to win that game. But if you start saying, I don't want to put that shit in my body. I don't want the preservatives. I don't want the fat. I don't want the sugar. I don't want that stuff in my body. You respond to it differently. So I think that's a great strategy, Julie. I think that's a much better strategy than focusing on weight. And of course, you can focus on both of them too, by the way. Remember that. But not just weight. We want to have multiple things we're focusing on. All right, let me get out of here. A lot of stuff to do. So again, it's an exciting time in the Program Yourself Thin world for so many reasons. And you can kind of get involved with some of those things right now. Like I said, certainly follow me, whatever social media you're following me on here. I put new videos up every day. Thank you for your answer. What about fasting? Fasting's okay. But again, here's the thing to understand is that fasting is very much, it's a tactic. Fasting's not the whole strategy. You know what I mean? I intermittent fast every night. Now I don't call it that because I started before all that. So I like fasting. I don't love intermittent fasting things. It's like, that's the whole solution. That's not going to be enough of a solution for you. All of a sudden, you're just cutting your eating window down. That's not going to work for the majority of people. You've got to transform your mindset, your lifestyle, and your eating strategies as well. So I love intermittent fasting. And again, I shouldn't even call it that probably because my fasting is a 13, 14-hour window sometimes. So I know a lot of intermittent fasting, that doesn't count. And so whatever, but that's my version of it. And I love it. It's part of my whole overall strategy, but it's a tiny little piece of it. So again, I think there's a lot of benefits to doing short windows of fasting, of taking a break from eating for a little while, consistently, a lot of benefits, but I don't like that it's like the whole solution of itself because I don't think it is. So anyways, so yeah. So if you don't follow me because I got new stuff coming out all the time. But most importantly, if you're here right now, click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session I give you. And once you do that, you're on my email list. And now, you'll get all this stuff that I've made for you. The Calm Holidays training and hypnosis session. I'm just giving that to you for free. You can get into the app if you choose to. There's a bunch of free stuff in there. And that's only going to get better and better. So again, My mission is to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. And this app coming down the pike is a real big piece of that. Gym AI is a huge piece of that. The structure of the program, how it's going to be laid out a little bit differently, is going to be a piece of that. So again, I don't know what more I can do for you, so I'm trying to do everything I can to help you all out, but you got to go click that link and get the hypnosis session, get into my world. And then I can kind of get you into it more so. And then if you ever want to leave my world, that's easy too. All right. So again, you're not here forever. If it's something you don't like, it's easy to get out, but you should go check it out. And if you like this, I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern, and you can come in and ask questions. And if you like listen to the replays, it's a podcast. It's called Program Yourself Then on all the podcast platforms. You can go check it out, listen whenever you want. But by the way, the app even has the podcast in there. So yeah. All right, everyone, have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.